Good evening. I didn't really have like too much prepared. I just wanted to say a couple of things. I am an art teacher. I teach middle schoolers, and I've been teaching for 27 years at the same school. I did teach a little bit of elementary art, but like not much. I can't handle the little ones. It's just too much work. Not that middle schoolers aren't, it's just a different kind of work. I started painting in 2014. Before then, I had been doing a lot of examples for school. I was a printmaker before this. I did a little bit of ceramics. But in 2014, I decided I'm gonna paint on paper this summer. And my son was like, "What are you doing? You have so much ceramic stuff that you need to glaze." And I'm like, "Nah, I think this is where it's at." And so I started painting on paper, and I didn't have any intention. I wasn't signing it. I wasn't dating it. I was just painting and putting it under the bed in a folder. And luckily I have good friends, and they said, "You really need to like show people what you're doing." So I started to show people, and I would put photos on Facebook every once in a while, and people seemed to like it. And then Karen Goulet, who works over at the Watermark Art Center in Bemidji, said, "This is your time, you need to do something." She's like, "You're gonna have a show at the Watermark." And I was like, "Oh no, really?" And she's like, "Yes, please do this." And so it was like 2018, 2019, and I had only been painting for 5 years, and I thought, oh gosh, this is a big responsibility. And I've just like really started, I think in 2014, to finally do artwork that brought me joy, that wasn't for work, it wasn't related to taking credits to keep my teaching license. It was just solely for me and solely about bringing myself joy. And that's kind of like where I've landed now. So if you have any questions, like please like ask, let me know. There are like a lot of my artwork is about family, friends. So there's stories behind a lot of the artwork. I've included 3 stories within the exhibit, but if you have other questions, there's stories that go along with most things. Not always. Sometimes I just really want to paint a bear, or I want to paint a raven, but sometimes like there is a big story behind the artwork. I find artwork to be very therapeutic. Yes?
Could you tell us a story from one of your pieces?
So, like looking around, the one where Katie is with the purple and the red-winged blackbirds. So, I did this design, and it just kind of flowed out of me. It was one of those designs that kind of came out in a day. And I did do like tweaks after that, and I was kind of moving the birds around. But I did this design, and I said to my best friend Stacy, who's right here, I was like, "Look at some of the stuff that I've been doing." And I said, "I don't know what this one is about, but I kind of like this." And she said, "Oh, it reminds me of Trayvon." And Trayvon was one of our students that we lost to suicide. And he was a mixed martial artist, and his fight colors were red and black. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. And so they're all kind of like little personalities of Trayvon. And the jingle dress for the Ojibwe is like our healing dress, which I thought was like, wow, I put these jingles on this design, and I didn't even like plan for something like that. I did add the skirt this summer. It was done in 2023, but I added the skirt this summer. I guess I always intended to do something. I thought it needed something else, but I didn't have the energy, like the emotional energy, to put it on until this summer. And then it was really interesting because I live by a golf course, and there's like a ton of birds. I call it the aviary. When I open my windows, that's all I hear is like birds. And I have an app on my phone now because I'm kind of a nerd, and I like listen to all the birds that are singing. And I'm like, oh no, we have a multiple oriole. Oh, I'm gonna have to paint that now. But we never had red-winged blackbirds until this summer. So I thought that was really interesting that I did this painting and then the red-winged blackbirds showed up, because we grew up with that sound by our house. Growing up in the country, we had this little marsh close to our house, and like we would hear red-winged blackbirds all the time. And so the spring when my windows were open, I was like, that is a red-winged blackbird. And that's when I got the app on my phone. I'm like, I had to make sure that was the red-winged blackbird. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that was like, I thought it was really amazing. It's just the connection was like really cool. Any other questions? Yes. Yes.
How did you get so famous?
This is my best friend's son. I don't know, Liam, if I would call it fame. Yeah.
That's really good, right?
Yeah.
She works really hard.
Yeah, one day you might be here. Should be really cool. He's a very good artist. He's a very good artist. Anybody else have questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm gonna get this question a lot.
Okay.
How do you get your lines so straight?
I use little brushes, and I measure. I luckily, like, I'm good with a ruler, and I measure really well. I also feel like because I'm used to working on watercolor paper mostly, I do thin the acrylic paint quite a bit, and I think that does help get a straight line. Everybody is always asking me if I tape,
Yeah.
and I don't tape anything because I feel like it leaves a mark. Like there's a chunkiness to painted lines that have been taped, and I don't know, I just don't like the look of that. I also feel like I've never been very successful taping, and maybe I just am not good at taping. I let my middle schoolers tape, but I just, when you're 56, I think it's about time you learn to paint a straight line. Get a little brush and figure it out. Yeah. Any other questions?
You don't look 56.
Good gene pool, I don't know.
I was wondering if you could share a story about one of the two sassy birds.
Ah, yes, the sassy bird. So, so a lot of times in my paintings, my parents are always hummingbirds. Sometimes, like I'm the bear back there by Katie. I'm the little owl over there. And sometimes I am a barn swallow, like squawking. And this is my best friend, Stacy. And this one over here is also my best friend, Stacy. And this is me kind of going off yet again. But like, it's usually like, I'm very even, and I don't often get mad. And when I do, it's like in my head. So in my head, I'm going off. But I not in real life. So yes, that's what I am liking the conversation pieces with the birds much more than just like a bird or a butterfly. So like I like the dynamic of what's going on, the back and forth. I think it's more interesting to me. It's more appealing as an artist. Anything else? All right, well, find me if you have any other questions and you just don't want to ask, because I know how that goes. So yeah, just let me know. And I do have some cards if you want a little copy of something. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.